So I spent 10 years in the business wilderness before I discovered that buying and selling businesses was exactly where you needed to be. So I spent between the years of 17, 18 to 27, 28, around that 10-year period, just messing around in business, trying to find my feet, trying to find that product, that service, where what I should have done, if someone had told me when I was 18, Jonathan, just go and buy a business, I would have saved myself an awful lot of stress. And to be fair, I would have accelerated my business success by 10 years. But I didn't. No one ever told me that, which is why I tell people all the time, don't start a business, buy a business. And then people say, well, I want to put my mark on it. I want something that's unique to me. That's just ego talking, okay? Buy something that's existing and then you can put your stamp on it if you like. But you see, if you buy a business rather than start one from scratch, you are buying an infrastructure. You're buying, it's got an office. You know, think how many new startups spend months trying to find the perfect office, just wasting time. It's got a website. Startups spend 6 months figuring out how to have a website and a logo, You're buying all these things from day one. Plus, very importantly, you're buying cash flow. So you're buying a business that's got money coming in and hopefully profit popping out the other end as well, okay? Rather than a startup, which is 3 years of nothing. Money going out the door and no money coming back in. So when people say to me, Jonathan, can anyone buy a business? Well, yeah, I guess anyone could. You've got a business for sale. I want to buy a business. I get my checkbook out. Don't know if anyone ever uses a checkbook now, but you know what I mean. I write the check, give you the check, I bought your business. So I guess anyone can do that, right? Anyone can buy a business. I think the question really should be, should anyone buy a business? Is it something that everyone and anyone should do? And actually, I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. I think that you have to have the right mentality, the right psychology, the right way of thinking to buy a business and to benefit from the success that will bring. So what type of person should buy a business? I think it should be someone who's got some guts, because it takes a lot of courage to buy a company, and quite often a company that's bigger than your existing company, or if you're starting from zero, of course, to go from zero to suddenly having £2 million of annual revenue, that takes courage. So I think that buying a business is for courageous people. Now, to be fair, the courage is discovered a lot faster if you've got someone by your side saying, do this, do that, these are the mistakes to avoid, this is the decision you need to make, and so forth. And I've got to say, from the people in my private client group, they tell me that is accelerated when they have a peer group where you're all doing the same thing. You're starting from pretty similar levels and you're all doing the same thing. And that actually helps build that courage without you realizing it. So definitely courage, guts, determination. You will get a lot of no's, especially if you're trying to construct a deal that doesn't involve your own cash, which of course is always the holy grail of any acquisition. So if you have persistence and determination, the knockbacks and the no's won't bother you. If you're one of these people who the first person who says no to you go and shrivel up in a corner and say, well, I can't do this, then maybe the timing isn't right. You need to come back in a few years' time when you've built a little bit of that courage up. But if you're someone who thrives on a challenge, oh my goodness, buying a business is a challenge. You will develop so much as a business person when you buy a business. It will stretch you beyond your comfort zone. You will have so much fun fun as well. It's fun buying a business. It's fun saying to yourself in a rather perverse way, there are going to be problems. I don't know what they're going to be, but I know that I can solve them. And to be fair, that's made it a lot easier if you've got the right, what we call a deal team. You've got the right team around you to get the deal done. And that just helps build your courage and confidence as well. So let's see what we've got so far. We've said you've got to have courage. We've said you've got to have determination. You can't be knocked back by no's and negativity. So you've got to be positive. You've got to be optimistic. You've got to move on to the next one. You know, some will, some won't. So what next? And you've got to constantly be looking at deals. We're probably looking at, on average, 3 a day. And the majority of those we don't proceed with. Sometimes because we don't want to, sometimes because the owner doesn't want to sell to us on the terms that we think would work for us. But it doesn't stop you. You just keep on going, keep on going. And sometimes, is it disappointing? Yeah, there's a business that you think, you know what, that's going to work really, really well. And for some reason, the owner doesn't want to do the deal. They pull out, they sell to someone else. That's just life. You forget about it and you move on to the next one. So sometimes people say, well, do you need to have lots of money to buy a business? Well, I think I probably addressed that on other videos on this channel quite thoroughly. So I'm not going to go into that here. And you can find those videos for yourself. But sometimes people say, is it age? Do you need to be of a certain age to buy a business? Well, this is one of those thorny subjects where whatever I say, people will disagree. They'll say, oh, well, I know this 8-year-old who's an incredible entrepreneur, and that 8-year-old would be able to do far better than any 50-year-old. Well, yeah, but they're an exception, aren't they? So I guess it's not always about age. I guess it's maybe maturity. But do you need experience? I think is probably a better question. Do you need business experience? Well, you don't need to necessarily have a lot of business experience, but I think you need to have a business head. Yeah, you need to have some common sense. You need to be interested in business. I mean, yeah, some people are a little bit fluffy. Business isn't really their thing. Maybe they're better off working for someone else than doing their own thing because it just doesn't work for them. So buying a business, if you kind of don't have that clarity of thought, if you're not really business minded, I think that would be kind of tough. Which actually brings me on to another point, is that I think the people who do really well at buying businesses have complete clarity of thought. They have a clear objective. And I spend a lot of time with people on the fast track program, actually on day 1 of our 5-day Zoom program, getting that strategy right. And people come to me for strategy sessions and they say, yeah, I'm thinking of buying this type of business, and I'm going to do this, and this is going to happen. And if I just can't follow what they're telling me, immediately I know the strategy is too complicated. The best strategies come from the client who says, this is the sector. The reason it's this sector is because I understand this sector, or I'm in business with my brother and my brother understands this sector, and we're going to buy 20 businesses over the next 2 years in this sector, and then we're going to sell them. Great strategy, very, very clear. And then it's how much can we sell them for? That allows us to work out pretty much what we can buy them for, how we structure the deals. Are we going to use debt? Are we going to structure them all in a no money down? If we are, we need to have really tremendous deal flow to do that. How are we going to do it? Brilliant strategy. We can map it out in 30 minutes. We can have a tremendous business acquisition strategy in 30 minutes. And I think that clarity is what helps people be successful. It's when they get distracted by shiny objects and say, oh, I'm buying fast food outlets, but I saw this IT company down the road that looks like an amazing buy. And there's this waste disposal company. And it's like, whoa, you're all over the place. It's that focus that's really, really important. And I know not everyone has that to start off with, but that's what people pay for the training, or as part of the training. That's what I can bring to the table, is giving people that focus. And I think once people have got the focus, they've got the optimistic, positive outlook, they've got the courage, they've got the strategy, they've got all these things, then yes, you can buy a business successfully. And I think it's down to every individual to self-assess and say, is this something I really want to do? Am I prepared to put in the effort? It's not all going to be a bed of roses. It's going to be hard work. There are going to be days where I'm going to be pulling my hair out. In fact, there might be days where I feel like giving up and saying, why am I doing this? But don't worry, every day is a new day. And that's where being part of a peer group really helps. It keeps you positive and keeps you uplifted. So anyone who wants to do this can do this. And I think that those people who take that step will never, ever look back.